injured in an RPG explosion. Tonight, one San Antonio veteran shares his story of recovery.
Doctor said, okay, well, you're going to be paralyzed for the rest of your life.
The COVID-19 Delta variant, it has been a game changer. Tonight, what we have learned and how it could impact future mutations.
Bring out the pumpkins and fall decor. Adam Caskey is tracking cooler temps when you can expect the change.
My mother passed away of being old. The Lord took her on Saturday around 10:30, if y'all really want to know.
First on the Nightbeat, a woman found dead, her son accused in the death investigation. 50-year-old Juan Santos Huerta accused of neglecting his mother, who was bedridden. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says Huerta was paid to be her provider, but instead worked as a trucker while cashing checks from the healthcare provider company.
Sandy Oaks police found 74-year-old Maria Huerta's body in a home near Elmdorf on Saturday. Bexar County investigators were then called to help and say the woman had bed sores and her body had begun to rot away. Sheriff Salazar saying that she was neglected to death. Huerta faces a charge of injury to the elderly with bodily injury by omission in the case.
Also new tonight, it was more than just a war of words. Police say an argument between neighbors escalating into a shooting. This all leading to an hours-long investigation on the city's south side. It all happened on Santa Rita near Loop 410 and 281. The victim is described as being in his late teens, but it's unclear if he was shot or if he was hit by shrapnel. Officers had to wait hours before the suspect would peacefully leave a home already filled with family members. The suspect is 19 years old but has not been identified yet. Police hope to learn more through interviews with witnesses at that scene.
Now to the pandemic here at home. Delta Plus, Mu, and Lambda, names you may begun to hear on the news as new coronavirus variants start arriving at our doorsteps.
Yeah, a local researcher tells us what we know so far about the quick spreading mutations identified by the World Health Organization as variants of concern or interest. The Night Team's Patty Santos reports.
This is a very clever virus that's been able to mutate in very clever ways, and making its survivability harder to predict.
Scientists across the world are tracking the continuous evolution of COVID-19. Some of those scientists are right here at Texas Biomedical Research Institute. The World Health Organization has identified the Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta as variants of concern, and this summer added Eta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, and Mu as variants of interest.
I don't think we have any evidence yet that any of them are more dangerous. They're more transmissible. Now,
researcher Gene Patterson says scientists around the world are trying to understand and predict what variants might do next. One hypothesis, Delta spread might cause other variants to fizzle out.
If you're trying to get to a place where a good proportion of the community is immune, either by vaccination or by having been infected, Delta may have contributed to our immunity as a community.
Other scientists disagree and say only time will tell. The Mu and Delta Plus variants, the latest to be tracked in Texas. According to Patterson, the good news so far, vaccination is still the best tool.
There's no evidence that any of these variants are have escape mutants that would suggest that you wouldn't be protected from your vaccination.
And epidemiologists are constantly taking surveys of COVID tests to see what variant is more prevalent and also looking for new ones that might represent a global threat. Tim Jaffney.
Thank you, Patty. Now for a look at the pandemic here at home. The 7-day average decreasing to 1,087 tonight. A slight decline in COVID-19 hospitalizations as well. 1,194 people are in the hospital tonight. 2 new COVID-related deaths now confirmed, pushing us closer to the 4,000 mark. Gonzales County Sheriff Robert Eclan is set to be laid to rest tomorrow after his battle with COVID-19. Visitation is scheduled for noon tomorrow at the J.B. Wells Expo Center in Gonzales, Texas. A service will then take place at the center at 2 p.m.
The state's new abortion law is presenting a lot of challenges for not only organizations that offer abortion services, but also those organizations that offer resources to women seeking help. SB 8 bans abortion after cardiac activity is detected, typically around 6 weeks. It does not make exceptions for victims of rape or incest. The Night Team's John Paul Barajas with how one local organization is trying to navigate and if the new law will impact the resources it offers to women in need.
A person's constitutional right to abortion is being violated.
The state is turning its back on women with these very archaic bans.
Planned Parenthood organizations and others alike are stuck trying to navigate their way through these legal obstacles and avoid lawsuits. Planned Parenthood has granted a temporary restraining order stopping certain people from suing them, at least until a hearing on Monday the 13th. Even with the limited protection, they've stopped all abortions until there's a more official ruling.
The governor has made it impossible for us to continue providing abortion care given how broad SB 8 is.
Mara Pasada with Planned Parenthood says, in the last week before the abortion laws went into effect, abortion spiked under a tight timeline. The clinic even seeing 100 patients in one day. Adding, if you need help, call. They'll provide you resources and even financial assistance if you need to leave the state. Other organizations without temporary protection still have lots of questions.
We provide that transportation, even if we don't know where she's going. Are we liable for that? Are we liable because of the counseling that we're providing?
Family Violence Prevention Services, an organization in Bexar County that doesn't provide abortions, only resources for family violence victims, is still concerned they could find themselves in a legal battle. Despite that, they'll continue to help while monitoring how the law is implemented.
We have a moral contract with the state, with the nation, with the city, but above all with the victims.
Another way organizations are trying to work around the law is by helping women get abortions outside of state lines. Their interpretation is they're not breaking the law because the law refers to helping women get an abortion in Texas, which they wouldn't be doing. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
John Paul, thank you. Governor Greg Abbott defending the new abortion law, saying Texas's goal is to, quote, eliminate rape, end quote. But will that happen?
The problem isn't a system or a process. The problem is the human heart.
Tamara Acosta says rape does not just involve a stranger someone meets at the bar. Sometimes it's a victim's family member or even their spouse. According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website, more than 2/3 of rapes go unreported. And DPS statistics show more than 14,500 rapes reported in Texas in 2019, but less than a quarter of the cases resulted in an arrest.
Tonight, we are also following the latest on the newly signed voting law here in Texas. While it was signed into law yesterday, the restrictions on the mail-in ballots and empowerment for poll watchers will not go into effect until December at the earliest. The law is still facing legal challenges. We hear from the Bexar County Elections Administrator online at KSAT.com. Just look for this article there.
A combat veteran forever changed. He was just 13 years old on 9/11, but years later, he joined the Army following in his family's footsteps to serve our nation.
Yeah, 4 years ago, he was seriously hurt during a tour in Afghanistan. Tonight, he shares his story of grit and survival with the Night Team's Patty Santos.
The prognosis for retired U.S. Army Green Beret Mike Morales was not promising in the summer of 2017, but he has an incredible recovery, and now he's back to serving his country in a different way.
We were actually in a lot more dangerous situations than the one I was injured in, but on a normal day. So an RPG hit the vehicle and it hit the armor right by my head, about a foot, and then that's kind of where I blacked out.
U.S. Army Sergeant First Class Mike Morales was on his 4th deployment to Afghanistan when he was hurt.
I went to first the German hospital because that was the closest one. They didn't want to move me because they thought I was going to die in the air from the altitude because the swelling in my brain was kind of out of control.
He was in a medicated coma for about 4 weeks till he woke up in Washington, D.C. with a large hole in his skull. Doctors told his family to brace for the worst.
I had no control or movement in my left leg or arm. And then doctors said, okay, well, you're going to be paralyzed for the rest of your life.
The resolve, drive, and purpose that shaped his military career motivated his push to heal. After several months, he was back on his feet, hungry for a second career.
And then I contracted with a group here in the United States. We trained police officers, military units, pistol and rifle and basic stuff.
Stories Stories from police officers he trained resonated with him, and he made the call.
It was right before COVID that I reached out to my brain surgeon. And I was like, hey, do you think I could be a police officer? He's like, yeah, man, I think you could.
Morales chose the Alamo Area Regional Law Enforcement Academy here in San Antonio and landed his first job with Castle Hills Police.
It's perfect. And I love where I work. I love my department. We're small, but we are awesome.
The political divide didn't impact his decision because he says
There's a lot of good that we do in helping others, or we go and take care of little things like that. That is just as meaningful to me as, but then also holding those who are really destructive in society accountable.
That was Patty Santos reporting. Our coverage continues tomorrow on the Nightbeat, where we take a look at how resources for mental health have changed since the 9/11 attacks. The 20-year journey tomorrow on the Nightbeat. Still ahead on the Nightbeat tonight, new video now in from the popular resort town of Acapulco, Mexico. The latest on the devastation left behind by that deadly earthquake and what some people there witnessed.
And UTSA forging a new path without its football team's rallying cry. For the first time, we will hear from UTSA's head football coach on the decision to remove the phrase, "come and take it."
And it's an operation leading to more than a dozen arrests, including right here in San Antonio, the operation dubbed Taste the Rainbow. Next on the Nightbeat. It's called Operation Taste the Rainbow. The goal to go after drugs and guns. The operation already put 20 people behind bars, and today another 15 people were arrested, including one woman right here in San Antonio. Most of those arrests taking place in Lubbock this morning. One prosecutor saying drugs and guns were seized along with the arrests. Many are accused of distributing meth and unlawfully carrying firearms. One of the 15 arrests today took place right here in San Antonio. Julie Ann Cifuentes, who also goes by the name Juicy, is accused of helping a group of people distribute meth. Court documents reveal among her co-defendants is also someone who goes by the name Skittles, who was also named in the operation as Taste the Rainbow. Investigators are still looking for 5 individuals related to that operation.
The latest out of Mexico, where a powerful earthquake shook the resort town of Acapulco. Mexico's president says one man riding his motorcycle died. The 7.0 magnitude quake hit 10 miles from the city, rocking buildings, crumbling walls, and pushing over power poles. The power was cut to nearly 2 million people for some time.
El sismo es cuando se fue la luz, entonces ya no supimos más, nada más escuchamos que se cayeron unas cosas.
There were about 150 aftershocks until about 5 this morning in Mexico. Many are still without power, and reviews are being conducted in 10 different states in Mexico.
Back here in the U.S., up in the Northeast, people are still dealing with another threat after Ida. Millions are facing flash flood watches in New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. That rain coming after Ida devastated the area. In the meantime, Louisiana, the death toll there rising to 26 after 11 additional deaths were discovered in New Orleans. The largest power company in Louisiana is still working to get power restored and running, saying New Orleans should have 90% of its power back online by tonight. A curfew for that area has since been lifted. And we have an update now on those donations you helped raise for victims of Hurricane Ida. The total now rising to $14,970. Around 170 calls came into the phone bank last week to help raise that money. We want to thank our viewers for all your help in providing this effort. The Red Cross also noted that on the same day the phone bank was held, around $6,000 additional dollars in donations rolled in as part of the Hurricane Ida relief efforts.
Taking a live look across the city right now. Of course, we all know it's been hot, but Adam, I'd say that a lot of people are very excited about this fall that's about to start coming in, right?
You know, a sliver of it.
Sliver? Well, hey, we'll take it.
We'll take it, exactly. It's, it's a slow start, right? You take some time to get the real fall weather in here, but you will notice some changes in the days ahead and even some promising rain chances. Today was our second 100-degree day of the year, and we actually missed the record high by 1 degree. That's it. The record high 101, of course. Kerrville topped out at 97, but look at all the locations at or above 100. San Antonio westward through Hondo, Uvalde to Del Rio, even south of town, triple digits. So we're feeling the heat. However, low humidity. That's the nice thing. It's a trade-off. And that lower humidity is going to actually lead to some cooler mornings. We're talking some mornings in the 60s, which we haven't felt in about 3 months. Promising rain chances are on the horizon as well. So let's get right to it. Starting with the rain chances, then we'll jump into temperatures and everything else. We had a few showers, Edwards Plateau, Hill Country, and even now northern Val Verde County. There's this little burst of energy in the atmosphere that's been sliding from Dallas toward Del Rio today, and that helped to kickstart some of those showers and thunderstorms, particularly along I-10 junction to Sonora and some points westward. But most of this activity is starting to dissipate. It's just an isolated little ripple in the upper level flow that's coming in from the north. Now the big blue H, upper level high, that's planted over Utah right now. And due to the clockwise circulation around highs, we've got this northerly flow aloft. And that's actually a fairly dry northerly flow. And this is an important futurecast. It's different than the typical futurecast we show you where it's clouds and rain. This has different colors and a different legend for you here. This blue and purple air indicates very dry air just throughout the entire column of our atmosphere, from the ground all the way up. The muggy air and the humid air with a lot of moisture is the oranges and yellows that you'll be seeing. So notice that over the next couple of days with that northerly flow, our atmosphere overall is pretty parched all the way through Saturday. It's going to be hard to make a cloud with that lack of moisture. But notice that moisture in the Gulf, we get a wind shift. Here it comes on Sunday, and it's going to linger through pretty much all of next week. That, combined with a weaker upper level high and a few disturbances, we think we'll see some tropical downpours as we get into early next week. Sunday a 20% chance, but then we're bumping it up to 40% by Monday through at least Wednesday of next week. So into the scattered category with some of those heavy downpours anticipated. So we'll of course fine tune those details in the days ahead. But right now the rain chances look pretty promising, even 5 to 7 days out. Dew points down in the 50s. This is nice. A little break in the humidity, and it's only going to get better. Over the next several afternoons, Thursday through Saturday, dew points 40s and 50s, and that's going to lead to some cooler mornings in the 60s. Now, right now, we're, for the most part, in the 80s. 81 Kerrville, 84 San Antonio, but 78 New Braunfels, and as usual, Del Rio still hanging on to the 90s at this hour right now at 94. Tomorrow afternoon, Del Rio 103, close to 100 around San Antonio and surrounding areas. Canyon Lake about 95, New Braunfels 96, Lackland area 99, Castroville 97, and Elmendorf, Losoya, Von Army, generally 100 or 101. And nothing but sunshine tomorrow. Wall-to-wall sunshine. Not as muggy, keep that in mind. We'll feel the heat, but a lack of humidity, and a northeasterly breeze at 5 to 10. I mentioned those cooler mornings. There it is. Look at this. 67 Friday morning, 67 Saturday morning, even Sunday in the upper 60s. We haven't had morning temperatures like that since I think early June it was. And then those rain chances go up as temperatures go down next week to near 90 for highs.
Like I said, Adam, we'll take anything at this point. Thank you.
All right, Greg, the controversy surrounding the Eyes of Texas seems to be far from over.
Yeah, you thought it was. You thought they'd come to a conclusion about it, but that is not the case according to a federal complaint that has been filed. When we come back, more about that and what is in the future. And another controversy on the UTSA campus. We have reaction from their head coach when we come back. The Texas chapter of the NAACP and a group of students have filed a federal civil rights complaint against the University of Texas for its continued use of their school song, The Eyes of Texas. A complaint filed back on September the 3rd alleges that black students, athletes, band members, faculty, and alumni have been subjected to violations of the Civil Rights Act and hostile campus environment over, according to the complaint, offensive, disrespectful, and aggressive use of the song. The NAACP wants the federal government to withhold funding to the university. The Eyes of Texas was played before the Longhorns season opener against Louisiana last Saturday, and new head coach Steve Sarkisian had said in the past the team will sing the song. A form of the song was used in minstrel shows in 1903 where performers wore blackface at times, but according to ESPN, school president Jay Hartzell said the song will stay after research showed there was no racist intent behind the Eyes of Texas. As we told you first on the Nightbeat last night, UTSA President Taylor Amy has decided to do away with the football team's rally cry, "Come and Take It." In doing so, Amy said that the slogan had become increasingly incongruent with UTSA athletics. Despite the fact it comes from the Battle of 1835 in Gonzales and is displayed at the opening of the school's new $41 million Roadrunners Athletic Center of Excellence, it became controversial when two UTSA professors found the saying to be racist toward Mexican Americans and demanded its removal, as well as being used in political rallies of late. Today was the first time we were able to get the reaction of UTSA head football coach Jeff Traylor on the decision to remove the rally cry that you will not see starting Saturday in their home opener.
We know our lane. That's not our lane. We also know how passionate our fan base is about it. They've made that evidently clear through many messages. But we also understand the predicament our president's in. He's in a very tough decision. And so he's the president. That's the decision he made. We're going to support his decision.
All right, the Valero Alamo Bowl held their annual Rudy's Barbecue Pigskin Preview today. Great to see many fans back in the Alamo Dome after the event had to be canceled last season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Special guest today, former Texas Longhorn, former Chicago Bear, and now ESPN studio analyst Sam Acho. And one of the first questions he was hit with before his appearance was about UTSA's big upset of Illinois last Saturday to kick off their 2021 season.
People underestimate the value of winning early, the confidence that it can bring and it can breed. And so specifically with UTSA, it could in a lot of ways be a sleeper team when you beat teams that are rising. People saw Illinois last week and said, man, Illinois could be the next big thing. And all of a sudden UTSA comes in and says, nope, we're here. And so I think it's got all the fixings to be a top program.
All right, Acho was also asked about his alma mater's move to the SEC, where the Longhorns and Aggies will renew their rivalry that has been dormant for the past decade after the Aggies made the move to the SEC first. Fans want it, but what about the two universities?
And it depends who you're asking, right? Because for A&M, they might not say it's important. They've been getting the top recruits. We don't need to play Texas, right? Now, Texas kind of feels the same way. We've got the most money in the state, the most money in the nation, the university. So it's like we don't need to play A&M. But I think it's really important for, like, when it comes to, like, rivalries, like, people who actually, like, hate each other, just really dislike each other. Those are two schools that, for lack of better terms, can't stand each other. And I think it'll be a fun game to play. I don't think a lot of people thought that game would be played ever again. At least when I was here 10 years ago and Mac Brown was coaching me, and no one thought the game would be played again. And now it looks like in the next, who knows, 2 years, 5 years, who knows how many years that game will be played again.
This year's Valero Alamo Bowl will be played on Wednesday, December the 29th at 8 p.m. The Cowboys will not have at least one starter tomorrow night. Next.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The Dallas Cowboys officially ruled Zach Martin out of tomorrow night's season opener in Tampa after the All-Pro and Pro Bowl lineman tested negative for COVID-19 once. Connor McGovern will take his place, and Martin tested positive for COVID-19 on Saturday. According to league protocol, must have 2 consecutive negative tests within 24 hours after 5 days in order to be taken off the COVID reserve list. That has already happened, though, today to wide receiver Noah Brown, who left with the rest of the team this afternoon. Also on board the Cowboys charter today was star quarterback Dak Prescott, who will play in his first regular season game since he was injured way back in week 5 of last year. Wide receiver Michael Gallup was asked today how Dak looks at practice.
Dak looks like he never left. He's leading the team, leading the offense. He's just, he's literally a coach on the field, the same as a player. He does what he's supposed to do. We respect him for it. He's just the general. He hasn't missed a beat.
Kickoff tomorrow night is at 7:20 p.m. against the defending Super Bowl champs. The Houston Texans got some bad news today. Head coach David Culley says they will be without their kicker Kai Fairbairn when they host the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. Fairbairn missed the Texans' last preseason game with what the team called a minor injury. In his place will be Joey Sly, who was just signed to the practice squad on Tuesday. I can hardly wait for the NFL to start tomorrow, and what a game to start it off with Dak Prescott versus Tom Brady. What a game.
It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Greg.
We'll be back.
Finally tonight, a notice that we want to pass along to those that live in the Rogers Ranch area north of 1604. SAWS confirms that there is a water outage affecting about 600 people.
SAWS says crews were working on a valve that failed. They're not sure when it will be fixed, but crews are working on restoring that water to that area.
That does it for the Night Beat. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, Good Morning San Antonio starts tomorrow bright and early at 4:30.
Have a good night.